Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hi, guys, and welcome to the first official Lady Parts TV podcast.
And the beginning of spring.
And the beginning of spring.
Which is covered in snow.
at least here. Anyway, we are so thrilled to have you here for our very first podcast. This is a work in progress. We are very new to this, and we would like to hear from you what you would like this to be. So
let's get to it.
First of all, we'd like to do this thing every week where we just want to talk about the stats of this week, because we've been noticing that we see more women in the writing and directing positions when we watch our episodes every night. And so we decided that, is it just our imagination or is something actually happening? So we decided to start tallying them and actually seeing the statistics. So this week we tallied 19 primetime shows, out of which 11 were written or co-written by women, which is 57%.
Fantastic, unbelievable.
That's more than half of the episodes we watched. And the number of the episodes directed by women was 5, which is 26%.
Still,
so about a quarter.
I think it's looking pretty good.
A ways to go, but I think it's already much better than it used to be. So we're going to introduce these stats every week just to see where we're standing.
Exactly.
Now, we have a lot to talk about. So let's start by talking about a show that I've actually been meaning to talk about for a long time, and one of the primary reasons I wanted this podcast. No, just kidding. If you're not watching Homeland this season, guys, it's really, really good.
You're making a mistake.
And the reason I'm saying this is because the way that it ended last season, I was very upset by it.
It was a little off-putting.
Well, I thought, Trump won, and here is what they're doing is that I thought at the beginning when they had a female president, I thought, great, they'll give us the alternative.
The other view, exactly.
And then they turned her into a female Trump.
Maybe even worse.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, she did have a brain. She does have a brain.
She has a brain and she does have a heart.
A heart, yes.
But anyway, I was very worried that this season was going to be very torturous and kind of just mirror our everyday life. And then they really did a great thing with it, which is she's not Trump. She is paranoid, but
yes, because someone tried to kill her.
And because everything she's paranoid about turns out to be true. Which is all the stuff that we're living with anyway. The Russian hacks, the militias around the country. It's so
timely. It's unbelievable. It's like it's happening, like we're watching a documentary, except we have a woman president instead of Trump.
But we also have a woman hero who is saving us.
Yes.
Carrie, if you were only real. So anyway, excellent season. Highly recommended. You had a problem with...
I had a problem with Entertainment Weekly.
We should start we should have a weekly corner.
I had a problem, and especially with... I never agree with Entertainment Weekly. I do sometimes, but they gave this season of Homeland a C+. I mean, what are you watching? Are you watching last season's Homeland? I mean, a C+, and although we're not going to talk about it today, they gave...
Here and Now,
a B-. Such an original, interesting, wonderful show.
We've mentioned it on a vlog, but we'll at some point talk about it a little more.
BW.
Shame on you.
Start watching TV like TV watchers and not finding something to be critical about.
Right. So you also wanted to talk about The Walking Dead, which I have no clue
We
about,
never get to talk about The Walking Dead, but this was so fascinating. I've actually been bored to tears with The Walking Dead. I waited till Thursday to watch, which is unheard of. I always watch Monday morning after I've taped it Sunday night. I dragged myself to the TV to watch it on Thursday. And I thought, more Negan, blah, 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 blah. Well, yes, although Negan did have his problems, which was very nice. But what was fascinating is I really realized, even though I've noticed that the women are strong, the future of the world is definitely female. Out of nowhere comes this character that sends Maggie at Hilltop a message, bring records and I have the key to the universe. And of course Maggie is very suspicious. She's got she's the leader. She's got every right to be suspicious. But anyway, Michonne talks her into going to this meeting. And who do we find at a van, but Jane Atkinson, currently President of the United States on Madam Secretary.
Acting. No, she was acting president while the president was away.
But that's all right. That's what she's doing. Here she is with two women sidekicks, with guns to sort of protect her, and all she really wants to do is trade vinyl, no spoken word, just music, for the key to the universe, the key to the future. It's very, very exciting because these women are planning the future of the world as we know it. And it was very interesting to see all that other bullshit was still happening with Negan and the killing and the dead. But here were these women deciding on really what the fate of the planet was going to be. And I just thought that was thrilling.
So we're tired of men just making wars. We want women to come together and make peace.
Exactly.
I like that. Well, because I know you've been kind of bored
so
by it
down
for the
on
last
it, but
2
this
years.
was a shot in the arm, I felt.
Now, we have 2 new shows that we should talk about a little bit because Shondaland has 2 new shows that started, one last week and one this week. And I feel very differently about each of them. So first we have...
Me too.
We have For the People.
Now, For the People...
Tuesday, 10 p.m. ABC. Go.
Okay. For the People is sort of like Grey's Anatomy, but in the legal world. We have these young... on one side are assistant DAs. The other side are public defenders. And what I love about this show is that we see how both sides of the law work simultaneously.
The prosecution
and the defense. And it's really a very intelligent show. Britt Robertson, I adore. She's young and perky and smart. And I feel that she's sort of the main protagonist, even though there's quite a few other young kids around. It's really a challenging show. It's both entertaining and intelligent. I love Hope Davis as the DA, or the primary assistant DA. I don't know. No, she's not. Excuse me. Hope Davis is the head of the legal defense team, these new kids. And Ben Schenkman is the DA. And you really do see how the different approach of a woman and a man is. Yeah. It's a very interesting show, and I think it's got great potential.
And it's very well written.
Very well written, very well performed. The kids are great.
And what I love about it, as opposed to Station 19, which is the other show that we're about to talk about, is that it's very professional. Most Shonda shows, which is in Station 19, unfortunately, just in the first couple of episodes we saw, kind of falls into that. Most of them, it's so soapy in that they're so obsessed with sex.
They're obsessed with sex.
They're so self-involved. That's Shonda speak when they go on these tangents of just
these monologues from hell.
For the People just sticks a lot to the professionalism. These are much more reserved kids. Station 19,
they're
which
pretty
is
driven, though.
Very driven, but I mean driven. Reserved in their
emotional outbursts.
Yes, exactly. Station 19, which is a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy, or as I like to think of it, Shonda Rhimes' attempt at creating a Chicago-style franchise. Well, first of all, our offshoot from Grey's Anatomy is Jason George, and when he was announced to be, the offshoot, I thought, well, he's not nearly as interesting or charismatic enough to lead a new show. But as it turns out, he's not really leading the show.
He's not really leading the show. He's just one of the firefighters.
Part of the ensemble.
I think he was one of the people that they figured they could let go from Grey's
without hurting the show.
Without hurting the show.
Though, what's their excuse with Sarah Drew in Arizona? Sarah Drew and
they're
Jessica
certainly
Capshaw.
making Sarah Drew annoying enough
to want
her gone as soon as possible. Yes.
Yeah, but so he's just part of the ensemble. And actually, as we pointed out yesterday when we were watching it to each other, he works better in this show.
This
somehow.
Environment somehow works better for him.
The person leading the show is Jana Lee Ortiz,
who I love.
From
you might
Rosewood.
remember her from Rosewood. She was just. She's even better in this.
Yes, and this is a very, very female-centric show. There are 3 firefighters. By the way, I didn't appreciate the fact that they pit Station 19 against Chicago Fire on NBC.
Thank you very much. Fortunately, we have multi-show DVR.
Right. But they do have 3 female firefighters, which, on Chicago Fire, it was the struggle to get a female firefighter. Here, we're just starting with 3. And Jana Lee Ortiz is vying for the captain. So right now she shares that acting captain position with a guy, and it really shows you the difference in leadership from between men and women, both how they do it and how they're treated for it.
Exactly.
So that's going to be very interesting.
And they even make note of it. The principal of the school where they go to check on a fire bell immediately talks to the man, and when Jana Lee Ortiz's character asserts herself, the teacher goes, and she's a woman, of course. She goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe that I'm one of those people that I went immediately to talk to the man about this."
She actually said that I turned to you because you're tall.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, they very much make a point of it.
Yes.
But, so it's not even subtle.
They make a point of it several times throughout the episode, but I'm sure things will settle down a little bit more.
But what another thing that I love about Shonda shows, and really commendable to her, is that so there's a gay firefighter, a male gay firefighter,
of which nothing is made. I mean, there's a point made, but it isn't.
He was married
negative.
To a man and
to another firefighter.
Nothing about it. There was also another gay character, just a guest appearance. And what I love about the Shonda show, because I was thinking, for the people, we don't know yet who the gay guy is who the gay person is going to be.
But there will be one.
Right.
Yes.
So it's so great to know that on Shonda shows you can always rely on the fact that there will be a gay character. On Grey's Anatomy, there's a trans character right now, and there's also a trans patient story. So that's really great for Shonda.
Thumbs up, Shonda.
Thumbs up. So we're going to be watching both of them.
Of course.
I'm much more invested in For the People than in Station 19. But we'll see what happens.
I am at the moment, but I think that I could really come to like this show.
Yeah. Now, as long as we're talking about gay people, which we don't often talk about.
What show are you talking about?
Whoop! I don't know if you heard that. That's cats running.
Cats chasing each other.
All the sound effects in this podcast are cats.
Cats.
So there actually this week was a lot of gay activity on television, and some of it is very much worth mentioning. So first of all, Madam Secretary had a very gay-centric episode where both the case of the week was gay-centric, the asylum seekers from Eastern Europe.
Somewhere in Eastern Europe, a fake-sounding country, but nevertheless something
very
that's
relevant.
happening and is going to be continuing to happen as the Eastern Europe cracks down on their homosexual populations.
Russia,
Yes.
And so that was the backdrop that allowed to Sarah Ramirez's character, Kat, come out as bisexual, and I love I love that the surprise
was that she was bisexual and wasn't gay. I mean, it's
actually a great twist on
yes,
things.
it was a great twist, and I don't believe it for a second.
And I have to say that even though I enjoyed the conversation that she had with Jay, I enjoyed him being kind of like the ignorant or oblivious one, not ignorant in terms of,
he's
just really
evolved.
needing to understand more. I appreciate that. But I have to say, if I hear authentic self
one more time, I'm just going to start screaming and never stop.
I think to me, it's
lingo
it's such a buzzword. And immediately when I hear it, I check out. It's like, to me, when you say that, that's no longer a personal conversation, because most people don't really talk about that like that.
No,
maybe now they do.
There were a couple of other terms also that are part of the jargon of coming out and living in the world as yourself.
Yeah, which has only happened recently. It's not something that used to be. There
that's
didn't
because
used
more
to be
people are doing it.
I guess now there's a script.
Yes, so
maybe now there's a script you can download.
It's the buzzword
you
now.
You can download a script now, how to come out to your family, and I just need to be my authentic self.
And to your audience.
And to your audience.
Yes.
But I appreciated it. It was a good episode. She's both bisexual and a parent. And I know that Sarah Ramirez, the whole bisexual, coming out as a bisexual means a lot to her personally. So that felt very personal in that respect. So again, thank you, Madam Secretary. You know how I adore you. The show itself, I want it to be converted to Madam President.
Madam President as soon as possible. And I'd like her to be President of the United States now.
Please. Another show that is very, very important this week, to the LGBTQ matters.
And it's a brand new show, Instinct, starring the inimitable Alan Cumming. He's so adorable and Puck-like. I just love him. And the interesting thing about his character, among other things, the fact that he's a former CIA agent turned psychology professor.
Right.
Well,
he teaches abnormal
psych, although they call it something
abnormal
else.
behavior. It's more specific.
At a college, and then now he's working with the police policewoman who's tracked him down to help her out. That's not so original. But anyway, is that he is, not only is he gay and proud of it, he's married to a man who we see. Nobody cares. Nobody makes a fuss about it. And he's totally heroic. I mean, he picked up a character who had...
No, he picked up the detective who she was shot.
Oh, right. She'd been shot. He picked her up and ran downstairs. If it had been upstairs, it would have been like Rocky. But he ran downstairs holding her in his arms.
It's just such an iconic hero
Then he
thing.
badass fought with someone, kicked them, did the moves. You know, it was kind of Wonder Woman-like without the lasso. It was fantastic.
He's treated like a complete macho hero guy. I mean, that image of him coming out with her in his arms is such an iconic picture of, you know, a male.
Like a firefighter or a cop or somebody doing something very heroic.
So,
Indiana Jones.
Thinking back about how gay, especially gay men, used to always be the laughingstock or the comedic character. No.
No, he's the hero.
He's the hero. And one of my favorite things about this show, which I assume will happen, is Alan Cumming is working with this detective, a very lovely actress who I've never seen before. I'm probably going to butcher her name, Bojana Novakovic, something like that. Anyway, very lovely. They have very good chemistry.
Wonderful chemistry.
But guess what? They'll never have sexual tension.
I love it.
Thank goodness, so refreshing.
One cliche struck down in its prime.
Love it. The show itself, I think is going to be fun.
Yeah, I thought at first it was going to be derivative. It reminded me of Perception. A couple of other shows.
We enjoyed Perception.
Yes, we did. But I was going to say, you know, this is becoming a formula.
Right.
The odd guy who knows about...
but it's all
But it's not. It really isn't. I feel that there's a different element here, especially because he was a professional.
Well, and it comes down to chemistry and the characters and how it's
Right.
written, and I think it's going to be fun. One thing that we can't really go into in depth, but bears mentioning, is American Crime Story: The Assassination of Gianni Versace, which was a phenomenal, sublime.
This is one
season.
of the most. I'm at a loss for words. It was just one of the best things I've ever seen on television.
Yes.
It
so
was
well acted, well crafted, well written.
If it had been a film, it would have been an Academy Award winner for sure.
And this is going to be award-winning series. I mean, Darren Criss. Who ever thought?
He better have it wrapped up.
Oh, he has it. He has it. I also am calling Penelope Cruz for supporting. And Judith Light, our beloved Judith Light.
Oh, she was guest star. She was so brilliant.
And I just want to say about American Crime, because there's so much to be said about it.
So much. We can have more than one.
Yeah, we might have to dedicate a vlog to it. But what we really want, what I really want to say in terms of the LGBTQ connection, because he was gay and the people that he killed were gay, and could be considered as a gay predator. But since this show is done by a gay man who does things so brilliantly, he actually put the emphasis on showing how this was in the 90s after these are people who grew up in the AIDS crisis era, who felt that society hated them, loathed them, was disgusted by them, and just wanted them to be invisible.
Yes, and also his father
had a lot
to do in crafting this serial killer. But this was about
all the gay people around him as well. They all felt this way. And one of the gay,
they had to be closeted.
Yes, and one of the gay characters that was talking to the police about Andrew Cunanan, Darren Criss's character, said, and I quote, "He's not hiding, he's trying to be seen." And this was he was so frustrated and angry that he felt that being gay was not something that he could be celebrated for, because he felt he was so special and so, has to be so successful, that was something that that made him angry, and he wasn't going to just be closeted.
I see it a little differently than you do, only because I think that yes, he was defiantly gay, but that isn't what defined him in any way.
No, I'm saying that this is something
created him.
No. I don't think that it was this was kind of an excuse. But I think that the show at least presented it as playing a big role. The people that he killed were gay.
Yes.
Many of them were closeted, or, for example, Versace was very successful and he resented him for being able to be successful and gay and out. So this is about his complexes, and as we see, his relationship with his dad also.
Yes, he had a lot of problems.
But being gay was very much a part of what was constantly on his mind.
And on the show's mind.
Right. Very interesting depiction. We urge you to watch if you haven't yet. Now, just as a little throw-in, I just want to mention SVU this week. Finn came a long way since he had a very hard time with his son.
I think his grandchild has had a lot to do with that. It was Finn's birthday. They brought him a cake, and his gay son and his husband were in attendance with their baby.
So sweet.
And they said they made a point of saying, one of the other detectives, that Finn was over the moon about this baby.
They were celebrating at the precinct.
At the precinct, yes.
With
and it was very lovely to see.
Yeah.
Very, very wonderful. I think, shows all over television now are just normalizing
hopefully
gayness.
Now, final word. We can't ignore this because it was big news this week. So, breaking news. Cynthia Nixon, formerly an actress on Sex and the City,
and many other things. Still an actress on many things.
Well, formerly on Sex and the City.
Yes.
Has announced that she is running for governor of New York against Andrew Cuomo, the Democrat, the incumbent. Now, this is actually a real problem for us because we're actually voting in these elections.
And we haven't quite decided how we feel about this, but there's time.
Well, we wanted to actually ask you. Because, of course, Cynthia Nixon is a highly intelligent person, very motivated.
Politics are definitely the right politics, meaning the left.
She's been an activist for many years and very successfully an activist.
Yes.
She was one of the main activists in making marriage equality in New York happen. So I have no doubt that all of those things are right there in place. But, of course, she's been getting a lot of flack for not having any political experience.
None whatsoever.
And actually...
yes, and there was a Christine Quinn, who is gay, and ran for mayor, for the primary for mayor a few years ago. It's very much in the Cuomo camp. She called out Cynthia Nixon for being an unqualified lesbian. Now, I thought there was only one qualification for being a lesbian, and Cynthia Nixon has it.
That was a very low comment.
Yes,
but she is. Not necessarily unqualified, but inexperienced.
Yes, but why bring out the lesbian, especially when you're a lesbian?
That was
what a turncoat.
As I said, the only thing that actually made me do is probably be less likely to vote for Christine Quinn ever, which I was going to. But we really do want to hear what you think about Cynthia Nixon running for governor, because this is hard for us. This is a very hard choice for us. So we're going to leave you with that question. What would you do? Would you vote? Would you not vote? And why? And with this, we're wrapping up this week's podcast. Now, again, this is a work in process. Progress, sorry.
Yes.
We want to know what you think, what you want this podcast to be like. So tell us, comment, email us as always, ladypartstv@gmail.com. And please rate us and give us a review, because that would be really helpful.
Very helpful. And we really need to know what you want, because this isn't for us. This is for you.
And we're very new at this.
Very new.
Thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you right back here next Saturday or afterwards in the archives, whatever you choose.
Bye.
Bye.